Hello there, I'm Marcus Kilmington and a really warm welcome to this State of the Nation 2015 for pubs. Now, I've been looking after pubs for 23 years, helping them do better since the days that I used to work for Norrin Hellmans, and I used to call on chef proprietors and owners of pubs selling soups, stocks and mayonnaise. And I'm with Tony Aram today, who I've had the pleasure of working with for just over a year now, and I consider him to be one of the UK's most knowledgeable pub experts. Tony's the owner and managing director of his own business, Proposition, and today I'm going to pick Tony's brains about 2015 and what you can expect and some secrets that you really need to know for 2016. So, Tony, good morning, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us. Just tell everybody first of all, how did you get into the leisure and pub trade?
Hi Marcus, and many thanks for that introduction. Well, I initially started my career in kitchens, in the pot wash, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Then worked my way up through the kitchens in hotels, onto food and beverage management, and eventually leading to general manager of large, busy 3- and 4-star hotels. I have to say, I don't think I could manage now to cook those 400 plus steaks a night that I used to when I was a lot younger.
That's an awful lot, isn't it? So tell us then, Tony, how did your career progress then after that?
My first head office role was heading up the food and beverage business at Coral Social Clubs. That's now Gala Bingo. I was then promoted to managing new projects and new concepts for Master Leisure, which is of course now M&B.
Yeah.
After that, I had some great roles with some great companies, such as operations manager for Tom Cobley, catering director for Magic Pub, where we set up Hungry Horse, and the catering strategy manager for Whitbread Pub Partnerships. One thing I would tell you, Marcus, is I've been very lucky and worked with some great people over the years, and I've learned so much from them.
And isn't that so important, to surround yourself with great people, Tony?
Absolutely. Otherwise you stand still. Your knowledge doesn't increase, your ability to develop your business doesn't increase. So it's critical. I'm a great believer in people learning and developing, and I'm still learning now. I'm 60 and I'm still learning.
Absolutely. I remember somebody said to me once, you can't be an expert unless you're forever the student.
Absolutely.
Fabulous. So when did you set your own business up then?
Back in 2007.
And what did Proposition do?
At Proposition, we provide a wide range of support and guidance to pubs and food service operators to grow their business. We work with a wide range of clients. One of our long-term clients is Enterprise Inns, and I am personally the retained food development tutor for Enterprise Inns.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Tony. So I guess over the years you've seen some major changes in the pub sector, haven't you?
Have I? Just. I remember the days when food wasn't served in pubs. In fact, women didn't really go into pubs.
Goodness me.
And the only food you got was a sort of cheese on your roll wrapped in cling film on a back bar. And maybe a pork pie if you're lucky. If you had Dijon mustard, it was a gastropub. We've seen some major changes though in the pub sector over the last 20 years, and change is still very much in progress. Let me share with you some data I picked up over the last year or so.
Right, okay, so this has sort of been going on for 2015, not before?
Correct.
All right.
Yeah. What we're seeing is a fall in drinking-only pub visits. People just don't go out like they used to just for a quick pint.
Yeah.
There's been a knock-on effect, a 4.4% decline in the number of wet-led pubs and a 5.1% decline in the number of community pubs. The whole pub sector has contracted by 2.6% in site number terms.
Yeah.
Latest data tells us that 29 pubs continue to close every single week.
So 29 pubs are still closing every week in the UK?
Absolutely.
Frightening.
It is. Well, we both think the same. So that means over 1,500 fewer pubs than 12 months ago. Okay. And this is verified data from verified sources.
That's pretty scary. So why is this happening then, Tony?
For a range of reasons. There's been a decline in out-of-home alcohol consumption, and it's been happening for a long time. It all started originally, I remember it really well, with the enforcement of the drink driving regulations. Mm-hmm. Then we had the no smoking ban, which everybody will remember the impact of that. Yeah. Then more recently, we've had people who are more health conscious and drinking less, the impact of low supermarket pricing, and people drinking in the home and preloading.
Right, now that's an interesting term. So just tell everybody, what's preloading mean then?
Well, I have to say my daughters do it. They're both university graduates, and before they go out, they get a bottle of vodka, they all share that, so they get the majority of alcohol before they go out, and then they enjoy the party atmosphere of the pubs, but they don't spend as much money as they used to.
I'm with you, got you.
Good.
Right, yeah.
Let me go on. Many non-managed pubs are struggling to compete with managed house brands who are focused on sales growth and spin-off of extra wet sales. Focused on food sales growth. It's fascinating to read now that only 1 in 10 visits to pubs in 2014, 1 in 10 were drink-only occasions.
Okay.
Down 8.4% since 2008. 8.4%
Yeah.
decline.
Okay.
Having said that, many pubs who have captured their respective market share in the food market are doing well.
Right.
Let me again share some more facts with you that I've managed to pick up in the last year or so.
Okay.
Visiting the pub remains the number one out-of-home leisure activity for UK adults.
Are you serious?
Well, is it yours?
Maybe.
But do you know plenty of friends that it is?
It is, I do actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you
Yeah.
think about it, it's bigger than fast food restaurants or going to the cinema or going bowling.
That's amazing.
It's still part of the British culture.
Right. Okay.
1 in 5 UK adults visits the pub weekly. And food is becoming a more important reason for people choosing to visit the pub they visit.
Yeah. Okay.
Pub food is growing as part of the total UK pub sales mix and is forecasted to continue to grow.
Right. So it's a big thing. Food.
It is. And I'm not saying all pubs should sell just food.
Yeah.
I'm saying that everybody needs to think about what food they're going to do.
Right. Okay.
However, as I said before, it's generally the managed house brands
Yeah.
that are increasing their share of the pub food eating out market.
Right.
All kinds of managed house brands are increasing their food sales.
Okay.
Data shows us that over the last 3 years, managed house pubs have grown food sales in all locations, town centre, suburban, high street, rural, by up from between £200 and £500 a week. Not many independent pubs can say that.
Right.
One factor that usually surprises many publicans, and probably will surprise you,
Go on.
is whilst 40% of pub income in the UK is now food
Yeah.
in managed house environments, managed houses are reporting that 6% of their income is now due to people coming for a bite to eat.
Really.
So 40% is food, but actually they'd lose 6% of their total income
Yeah.
if they took away the food offer.
Right. So there's a big difference then, Tony, isn't there, between wet-led and food-led pubs?
Absolutely. There's a huge difference in terms of performance between branded pubs and independent, non-managed pubs.
Okay.
Again, let me share a few facts to illustrate that in a bit more detail.
This is great. Yeah.
Branded pubs grew traffic by 5.8% in the past year. Independent pubs lost 6.4% of the traffic.
So that's a huge difference, isn't it?
A huge swing.
Yeah.
And branded pubs now represent 63% of all total pub traffic, footfall,
Right.
up from 40% for the year ending November 2008. A 57% rise since 2008.
Huge.
And branded pubs saw 9% growth in the number of visits in 2014. 9% in 1 year.
Yeah.
Food pubs tend to have high sales and higher profit. They're less price sensitive to drink prices.
Yeah.
And there's a smaller decline in beer sales. When you go to a food pub, you don't look at the tariff prices, you look at the food prices. You generally ignore the amount you're paying on
You know,
the
you're so
drink.
right. You're so right there.
Can you imagine last time you went to a Chinese restaurant
Yeah.
or an Indian restaurant? You look at the menu, you don't look at the drinks.
You're absolutely right. You know, you store your drinks, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
1 in 5 UK adults visit the pub weekly. 1 in 5. And food is becoming more important for people choosing where to go. So in terms of where do I go, food is becoming one of the critical decision makers of where I decide to go.
Right. Okay.
Only 6% of adults have neither eaten nor drunk out of the home in the last 6 months.
Right. So a lot of people going out.
94%, only 6% haven't done it,
Yeah.
which is incredible.
This is, isn't it?
Yeah. A number of families dining out in pubs with children is up 5.5% in the year to ending September this year,
Yeah.
2015.
Yeah.
Family dining now accounts for 20.8%, nearly 21% of all meals, with adult-only meal occasions down 1%. So families are king at the moment.
Families are king, then, aren't they?
Really
so,
great.
really some fascinating, fabulous information there, Tony. So tell us then, can you expand for me a little bit on the growth of food within the pub sector then, please?
Yeah, absolutely. There's some really interesting facts here, and I'll take them slowly for you. There's 4,500 pubs closed between 2009 and 2013.
Big number.
4,500. However, 1,770 new restaurants opened in the last 12 months.
Ah.
So that really does show the difference between the wet-led and the food-led pubs and restaurants.
Yes.
The pubs that have closed have generally been more dependent on alcohol
Yeah. Makes sense.
rather than a mix of beer and food.
Yeah.
And during 2014, the average Briton went to the pub once every 8.6 days compared to once every 7.7 days in 2008.
So we're going to pub less.
Correct.
Yeah.
This means 47 million fewer visits to pubs in 2014 than in 2008. That's a huge number.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me explain that whilst food is growing, not everyone is sharing the benefit.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
The growth of food as a percentage of total sales tends to be in branded managed pubs.
Okay.
Branded managed pubs are the ones that are winning.
They're doing it well.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's been no real movement of food as a percentage of total sales in the independent free trade sector.
Okay.
And there's been a continuous decline in food percentage of total sales in the non-managed, leased and tenanted sector.
Right.
And they started at a very low base point and they're in decline.
Crikey, so that's really bad news, isn't it?
It is.
Scary.
The independent pubs are really struggling.
Right, so Tony, then tell us then, well, why then are independent pubs generally struggling and the managed houses are performing so well? Why is that?
When you look at it in a cold clinical way, it becomes very clear. The managed houses have huge resource. Independents don't. If you're an independent publican, you have to place your beer order, you have to do your marketing plan, you have to do your rotas, you have to do your health and safety. If you know anything about branding or corporate merchandise, you have to do all that. Everything is down to the single person. The managed houses have teams of people. They'll have a brand director, they'll have a chef development team, they'll have a HR director, they'll have a training team, they'll have an audit team, they'll have a property team, and all those people are working together to make their pubs better than independent pubs.
Right, okay, so got a lot of advantages.
Huge.
Yeah.
So managed houses have a highly focused food offer that suits their respective market, a really honed food offer that suits their market.
Interesting.
And they have different brands for different locations and different customer type.
Yeah.
So they know what brand to put where.
Right, crucial.
Absolutely. And managed houses have consistency of delivery. This is really important, whether it's service, speed of service, quality of service, value, the environment, they really are consistent. You go into one Wetherspoons, it looks like the next Wetherspoons in terms of standards.
They do, don't they?
Yeah. Independent pubs tend to struggle in one or all of those areas.
Right. So you do think this current trend then is likely to continue, Tony?
I can't see any change at the moment unless there's some significant changes in the way people address food in their business.
Right.
So, from my point of view, if independent pubs do not adapt their business to satisfy the demand for good food at affordable prices, delivered in a way that really appeals to a wide variety of customers and more discerning customers, they're going to fail. They're going to continue to fail.
Right, going to fail.
Because if you look at the performance of companies like JD Wetherspoons, you get a real feel for the art of the possible.
Okay. I like that phrase, that's a lovely
Yeah.
phrase. The art of the possible, Tony.
Yeah, exactly. Let me share with you a few snippets from press releases from JDW.
Please do, go
because
for
this
it.
helps contextualising.
Yep.
And I think a lot of the people listening to this from independent pubs will be surprised at the sort of figures we're going to be talking
Go on,
about.
go for it.
Average Wetherspoons sales per week, this is from a statement by Tim Martin just recently, are now around £35,300 a week. Average. So it's big, there's ones that are well outperforming that. There's a few less than that. And Tim said, clearly, food has grown to become a more significant component to our customer offer over the last decade. 10 years ago, our average weekly sales on food was £6,000. It is now £12,000 a week.
Goodness.
It's phenomenal.
Doubled.
Correct. So there's a massive opportunity if you get the offer right.
Right, that's the big bit, isn't it? If.
Yeah. And I personally cannot see the importance of food diminishing. You ask, I really can't see it happening. But you've got to get the right food offer for the right customer.
Right, so this is the future then really we're talking about now, aren't we?
Yes, we're moving much towards looking at the future.
Yeah.
Food is increasing in importance as part of the total pub sales mix and will continue to do so. 60% of pub goers order food when visiting a pub. Midday sales have risen now from 855 million to 1.5 billion a year during 2006 to 2012.
Yeah.
And we're now hearing that breakfast is now 6% of all managed house pub meals.
Yeah.
280 million a year.
Sweating the assets, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every day part is being stretched,
Yeah.
and they're making a maximum turnover profit out of every day part.
Very good.
And pubs are increasingly more a place for eating and less a venue for a quick pint.
Mm.
Half the British population now visits a pub at least once a month. And we know drinking out of home is on the decline. Most wet-led pubs will continue to suffer. We know food pubs are selling more drink as part of their meal occasions.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want you to think all wet-led pubs should just focus on food. It's more about wet-led pubs selling more appropriate food to its drinking customers.
Right, yeah, know your target market.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's not about converting all wet-led pubs. It's about adding food, the right type of food, onto wet-led pubs.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, focus on.
Absolutely. Even what I call the new beer shrines, the micro pubs that some people call them.
One of them just opened up.
They have,
Yeah.
and they're great places to go. But what you'll find is they're serving some great rustic food.
Yeah,
Homemade pork pies,
Yeah.
homemade sausage rolls,
Yeah.
and the such like. And back to the old traditional ploughman. But they're doing it really, really well.
Which is key, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We know coffee shops are in growth, and personally, Marcus, and I don't know about you, I don't see any difference between a coffee shop and a pub.
Totally agree.
They're both somewhere to stop, have a drink, and have a bite to eat.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a huge opportunity for coffee sales growth.
Yeah, we've got the Wi-Fi, and away you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Wi-Fi is incredibly important as well, Marcus.
Yeah.
Don't let's forget that. It's because, especially to the younger age groups.
Yeah.
Everybody wants now to hook up to Wi-Fi.
Yeah, absolutely. The business guy that's travelling up and down the motorways and things like this.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of coffee and that sort of breakfast day part, we know operators like JD and Wetherspoons have successfully established a strong coffee offer. And breakfast trade in recent years has grown. They now sell approximately, this is again from Wetherspoons, 50 million coffees and teas per annum.
Massive. You'd never think going for a pub for a coffee a few years ago.
No, you
would
wouldn't. And 20, on top of that, Marcus, 24 million breakfasts.
Amazing.
24 million breakfasts.
Yeah.
And do you know what JD Wetherspoon's target is? To
No,
triple, yeah, coffee and breakfast sales in the next 18 months.
Goodness me.
They see the opportunity.
That's huge.
And more people who are working have less time to have breakfast. So having it on the move
Yeah.
is really something they want to do.
Yeah, that's
grab a quick breakfast,
Yeah.
business meetings and so on.
It's a trend, isn't it?
Correct. Pubs generally have been successful at boosting breakfast business. Visits to pubs at breakfast have grown 128%, up from 44 million for year ending December 2008 to 100 million to December 2014.
That's gigantic, isn't
Absolutely. Now, we've seen a sharp rise in the number of coffee shops in the UK, so why can't pubs take more advantage of that coffee growth?
Mm.
Hot drinks is a further opportunity for pubs, with 27% of pub visitors already purchasing a hot drink.
Yeah.
Serving the hot beverages in pubs is up now 11.4% in 1 year. If current trends continue, the number of coffee shops will overtake the number of pubs in Britain by 2016.
Goodness me, more coffee shops than pubs.
Exactly.
Whatever.
So I said 2016, I meant 2026. It's not going to happen just in 1 year. It's
Okay.
like 2026. But that just goes to show the importance of adding day parts onto your offer.
Doesn't just.
Absolutely. Okay. Research companies that I've read just recently say turnover from meals is expected to rise by 20% between 2014 and 2019 to reach 8.76 billion.
Huge.
It is a
Massive
phenomenal
number.
number.
Yeah.
Brits still do have a great fondness for pubs.
Really?
31% stating that location is the main factor for their pub choice. So if there's a great pub
Yeah.
in the village
Yeah.
or locally,
Yeah.
they won't drive to another one.
They'll go there.
Correct. So,
They'll go there.
so it's about these locals getting their act together,
Right.
because people don't want to drive or walk farther than they need to.
Yeah, so that's a really big point you just made there, Tony. So location's the main factor for nearly a third of people that go out.
Correct. And if you think about it, Marcus, when you think about going out,
Yeah.
you go, how far do I want to drive, or how far do I want to walk?
Yes.
You don't want to pass a couple of pubs to get to the one. You'd rather have the pub on your doorstep.
You would if it's doing it right.
So locals have a great opportunity to develop.
Fascinating.
Yeah. And just another interesting fact is 45% of people would be interested in trying a new pub if recommended by a family, friend or colleague.
So it's that word of mouth thing again, isn't it? It's about getting it right, because people tell people who tell people.
It's
And
30 times more. Sorry, Marcus.
Go
didn't mean
for
to
it.
interrupt
It's
you.
all right,
It's 30
it's
times more
straight.
powerful than the flyer.
Yeah.
Because so if somebody tells you, think about it. If somebody says to you, I've been to a great pub, you're instantly inquisitive. I think I'll go there.
You do.
You get a flyer through the door saying, great pub under new management. What do you do with it?
You often bin it, don't you?
You bin it.
You put it in the recycle.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
So for pubs to be successful in the future, they've got to construct their menus to ensure they set themselves apart from other pubs and restaurants in their vicinity.
And that's key, isn't it? You've got to differentiate yourself. You haven't got to be the same as everybody else, have you? You haven't just got to be another me too and do that 2 for a tenner like everybody else is doing, have you?
Correct. And what I would say to most publicans, if you don't know what you're known for, how do you expect the customers to know?
Actually, just repeat that, Tony. Just repeat that.
If you don't know what you're known for, how do you expect the customer to know what you're known for?
Gold.
It is. And that's one of the things I try and stress when I do my business development workshops. Don't expect customers to come if you don't know the reason yourself why they should come and visit you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pubs must up their game when it comes to their food offer,
Yeah.
to attract new and ensure repeat customers.
Brilliant. So can we just have a look now, just like in a little bit more detail, what customers want?
Yeah, absolutely. Some interesting facts I've just picked up recently is 3/4 of pub goers say they would opt for homemade dishes if homemade dishes are available. Which gives independent pubs, that's what you like, yeah?
Yeah, I love it.
So independent pubs who could do homemade versus the brands have got a big opportunity. And a lot of them are beginning to do that. But they're still not all doing homemade chips, which, let's face it, would you rather have a bag of frozen chips or a real homemade chip?
Homemade chip every day.
Homemade, absolutely. 54% of consumers choose dishes from locally sourced ingredients.
Massive now.
If they know where the, it follows.
I'm the same.
Horsegate was a big issue for the UK. And if people know where the product's coming from, they feel very reassured. And if it's local, they like that as well. And 38% of people choose meals with seasonal ingredients. So if you can buy things locally and seasonally, you've got a real opportunity.
You have that. Yeah.
To grow your business.
That's really useful information.
A couple more facts for you, without trying to give you too many facts.
This is all fabulous information, Tony, for what to do in 2016 going forward.
Thanks. 24% of customers check the pub's menu online before visiting.
So 1 in 4 people look at a website before they actually go out?
I do it all the time.
Right.
We'll always have a look to see what the menu's like, and most menus you can download in PDF format and actually decide for you, which makes you feel comfortable that there's something for all of you before you go out. So you've got to get your act together online as well.
Very, very true.
The pub market in 2014 grew turnover by 2.7% to 22.6 billion, and is expected to grow to 24 billion in 2019. Now, one of the areas of growth is the grey market, which creates a big opportunity for pubs at lunchtime.
Yeah.
The lunchtime pub grey market is in growth. There's more and more grey market with disposable income.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of people are seeing lunchtime growth.
And these are people that have often retired, got some disposable income.
Correct.
They get absolutely no interest on the money in the bank of building society, so they might as well just go and spend it, might they?
And they spend nearly a week thinking about where they're going to go the next week. And it could be a garden centre. It could be a garden centre. I went to a garden centre the other day, and there were 200 people having lunch in a garden centre because they did a great lunch in a nice environment.
Garden centres do well.
Exactly. Now, I've got some really interesting facts for you here about how you ensure you get repeat business. So once you've won the customer over, how do you get them back?
Okay.
The number one reason is the quality of food. 54% of respondents said that high quality food is their main reason for repeat business.
Right, so I always talk to people about you've only got 2 objectives when you're a new pub. Objective number 1 is to get them in the door in first place, and objective number 2 is to get them back in the door after that. So you're telling me that the number one reason to get people back in the door is better quality food.
54% of people said food.
Amazing.
Now, there's some others, let me share
Go
with
for
you.
it, please.
Value drinks, 48%, not being ripped off with expensive drinks. More special offers. You know, people do look for offers. We all look for offers all the time, whether we're online or whether we're out shopping, and special offers are what drives foot traffic. And offers online can work really well as well. More locally sourced food and drink. More entertainment, another reason to go to the pub. There's something happening there other than just eating and drinking.
Yes.
A great environment, you know, improved decor.
Yeah.
Great customer service and speedy customer service.
Yeah.
Great range of beers.
Yeah.
And this sort of craft ale revolution that's coming through now. And actually, down the bottom, free Wi-Fi. But that's still 21% of people would think Wi-Fi is critical when visiting a pub.
So that's 1 in 5.
Absolutely.
1 in 5.
Yeah.
Goodness me. So, what about the future then, Tony? What trends do you think are going to be key going into 2006 that we might need to be aware of?
Okay, well, there's a lot of people I work with, and we all think about the same, and we all read the same from other specialists in the industry. One is premiumisation, and we've seen it with dishes like burgers. It's about using really great chips, about using really great brioche rolls. It's about putting really great cheese on, not a cheddar cheese slice anymore and things like that.
Yeah.
So premiumisation is one. There's much more of a focus on well-being, gluten-free, less meat, healthy foods. That's big, and it's going to continue to grow. You don't have to do your whole menu around it, but you have to give people the option, because if you don't, they will go and eat somewhere else.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
More sharing and more sociable food seems to be the one that's really growing.
Really, like finger food for
Finger food, tapas, because pubs are turning more into a social environment where you want to go and mix. I went to one the other day, and they were doing a bucket of blood and a pizza, and it was flying out the door, because people go, why don't we all chip in, get MRO has been talked about a lot. And what's happened is Parliament has decided to redefine the relationship between the tenants and lessees of large pub owning companies, such as Punch, Enterprise, Admiral, Green King, Star, Marston's and so on. Undoubtedly, the MRO legislation will impact on some pubs.
Yeah.
But it's early days really to make judgments on the potential outcomes.
Okay.
We just need to wait to see what's going to happen.
See what happens.
But it's probably going to be good for everybody. That's my view.
Well, that's a great view to have there, so you think it's really going to be
Absolutely.
good across the whole spectrum.
Correct. Yeah.
That's super to hear. So, finally, Tony, for everybody watching, just be interested in your top tips for publicans to take advantage of the food market growth that we're going to see over the next 10 or so years.
Okay. I use these on the workshops. These are really the top tips that we've honed over the last few years.
Really?
Absolutely. These are the critical success factors, in my mind, to be able to succeed in business.
So you're running a pub, you might be struggling, you might be doing well, but so if you're struggling, to make it better, and if you're running okay, to make it even better, these are the critical.
Absolutely. Imagine you've got a pub, Mark.
Yep.
Imagine you've got a pub.
Yep.
What I say to you, have you got the right proposition, the food proposition and drink proposition for your local marketplace?
Okay.
By day part and by day of the week.
Right.
Based on your customer types in your specific location. Are you sure your offer, food and drink offer, is right? Okay, number one.
So that's the number one critical success factor.
Correct.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't work on that enough
Right.
in independent pubs.
Okay.
So, do you have a compelling, differentiated food offer, okay, that separates you out from your competition? Do people know what you stand for versus your competition?
What a great point.
Thanks. Is the kitchen appropriate? Have you invested in it? Is the engine room going to be able to cope with that increase in food and sales? Are the kitchen staff trained? Do they consistently deliver great food that looks the same, tastes the same, time and time and time again? Because one bad meal, the person won't come back. You've got to consistently deliver great food, great drink, and you've got to make sure that that's to an agreed standard and your kitchen's capable.
Right.
Okay, that's my third. My fourth, are you on trend? Are you aware of the trends in the market, and are you picking up those trends in the marketplace?
Okay.
Are you doing that social grazing food?
That's
Are you
good.
doing the nostalgia things?
Yeah.
Okay. Because people are exposed to this in other pubs and they expect it from yours.
Yes.
Are you maximising the sales potential of your pub by using things like the function room, the private dining room, the beer gardens in summer? Are you really sweating that asset? Are you making use of every single bit of space? Or are you thinking laterally about all the things you can think about to do, you know, and just have a brainstorming session, work out what you can do in the function room when it's not empty. An empty function room is losing you money. Get it full.
Oh, that's so true.
Absolutely. Really important ones, especially for the independent pubs. Are they controlling cost and revenue? Sometimes they don't have the processes in place that you expect.
Yeah.
And that means they're not always converting turnover into profit.
Yes.
So cost and revenue control procedure is critical.
Yes.
Number 7, do you have the appropriate price positioning and the price ladder for your menu? Do you have an entry level point where you know people might want to buy something at $2.95,
Yeah.
and if somebody wants to pay $12.95, have you got those price points?
Yeah.
I go too many times to see pubs and everything's $6.95 or $7.95,
Yeah, so it's-
and people go, I can't afford that, or I wanted to have a better meal, and I'm willing to spend it more. So price laddering and price positioning is critical.
Okay.
Number 8, does your food look wow? We've all seen it. The plates come to the table, everybody cranes their neck, everybody looks at it, and the food should look wow on the plate. As soon as it arrives, really powerful.
Absolutely.
And think about different crockery, different tableware, different ways of presenting, and work on that. Spend time on that.
Because we eat with our eyes, don't we?
Absolutely. We do,
Yeah.
And you do it. Everybody looks. And how many times have you seen somebody go, "Oh, I wish I got what you got"?
Don't you?
that's what happened. Okay. Number 9. Okay. Do you have the right customer-facing signage and materials? Are they all joined up? Are they cohesive? Are they focused? Are they telling a story? You know, is it clear? What independent pubs don't tend to do is have this really nice sort of cohesive branded approach.
Yes.
They go from Dayglow stickers to handwritten this or different font styles and that. It's about looking joined up. Make yourself look as if you thought it through and you look professional.
Right. Okay.
Add that little, and if you don't know how to do branding, find out how to do
Get
branding.
somebody in, tell
Correct,
you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Another important one is the fabric of the building exceeding customers' expectations.
What do you mean by that, Tony?
The carpets, are they
Okay.
torn?
Right.
Are the toilets hanging off the wall?
Ah.
Is the paint peeling off the walls? Are the gardens looking nice? Are the light bulbs all working? You know, if people expect high standards. People have high standards at home. The managed houses have high standards, and if independent pubs don't have high standards, people get in and walk away. It's like my wife. She'll say, "I'm not stopping here," and walk out and we'll go somewhere else. Okay, so it's a prerequisite to have the fabric of the building correct.
It is. I totally agree with you. It's about showing that you care and you've got attention to detail, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And if you care about the outside, they'll know you care about the food.
How true. How so very true.
It used to be the old adage about the toilet.
Yeah.
You know, but it's actually everything.
Agree with you. Yeah. Great stuff.
So, last two for you. Are you excelling with customer service? I know are your staff really doing a wow job? Are our staff selling on your behalf? Are they just there to get the money, or have you motivated them and are they going out selling for you? Are they really trying to get that extra couple of pounds spent in terms of the extras and the extra drinks and extra bottle of wine? Are they really working hard? Or are they sat with their arms folded, leaning over the bar? You're paying them, get the most out of them. That's fine.
That's so very true.
And finally, have you got a comprehensive marketing and promotional plan?
Do you do any marketing public?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And is it joined up? Do you know what you're doing next week, the month after, and have you got it planned through to 12 months' time?
Oh, God.
That's my top 12 tips for your marketing.
So they're the 12 critical success factors.
Absolutely.
So you put those into your business then, and you make sure you've got those 12 critical success factors, Tony. What sort of pub benefits are you going to get from that, mate?
My view is you get quite a few. And these are really rewarding for the independent publican. If you've got a clear plan to succeed, you're going to get some real great benefits. You'll see a greater focus on sales growth, not firefighting and cost cutting. If people spent more time growing sales, they wouldn't worry about cost cutting or firefighting.
So very true. I often see people all the time, their total focus is on cost cutting rather than their focus should be on growing sales.
On growing sales. A stronger performing business, equals increased sales, increased margin, and increased bottom line profit. And that's why they're in business. And you won't be in business if you don't do that.
Yeah.
You'll have more contented staff, believe it or not, with less staff turnover and improved efficiency.
Yeah. People
like to work in a slick, busy environment.
Yeah.
And when you're busy, you tend to get more customers because you're busy.
You do.
And staff are happier when they're busy and they're getting a lot done rather than standing around all night long waiting to take an order for a drink or order for food. Okay? Another benefit is improved reputation longer term. So you get more of that repeat visit through word of mouth. So once you've got your act together, that repeat visit equals more sales, more growth. And for the independent publican, financial security.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And keeping that roof over your head. And making the dream a reality. I've always wanted to run my own pub, but is it sustainable on a long-term business? And finally, a lot of publicans are under a lot of stress. If you get your plan right, that stress is relieved and you can really begin to enjoy your business life.
Fabulous stuff, Tony. Thank you so much for the last 20-25 minutes. I mean, some really key insights in there. I think State of the Nation 2015, what's going on in the pub market for the end of this year. Some really worrying statistics there, but I think one of the things I've picked up from you is the fact that although there might be a lot of people struggling, if you do, what you talk about with those 12 critical success factors, if you put those into your business and you work on those, you can be one of the minority that actually can do really, really well going forward. And I think that is something to actually take away from the last 20-25 minutes with Tony as far as going into 2016 and making your business even more successful than it's been. Well, you know what, if you're struggling a little bit, actually really take it up another level. If I could just put you on the spot and sort of say, if there was just one thing, Tony, that you could share with somebody on how to make 2016 a whole lot better than some doom and gloom in 2015, what would it be?
It would probably be spend more time working on the business, not in the business. Fail to plan, plan to fail. And if you don't know how to plan to grow your business, get help, get support, learn, okay? Because it's not going to go away.
Right, fabulous.
Some I know, but you really got to have that plan. And if you haven't got a plan, then work on, get people to help you develop that plan.
Excellent advice. Thank you so much for today.
Pleasure.
I want to thank you for watching as well, and from me, Marcus Kilvington, the very best 2016 to you.
That's it.